All right, we're live. Good morning, everybody. So super excited today. This is my friend, Christopher Moore. He's my friend now because I just met him the other day. How are you today, Chris?
I'm well.
Good, good. I'm great. So, as many of you know, my name's Tammy Lynn Connors. This is Hope, helping other people evolve. And what my mission and vision here is to offer people some strength. So what I do is I interview people that have been through a struggle, which there's so many people out there, and hope to get them other people to a strength. So from their struggles, they've gotten to a strength. And I'm in Nevada right now. So I'm started my 50 States of Hope tour about a month ago. So this is my second true state that I'm doing, and I'm super excited. So I just want to share a little bit of how I met Christopher, because you know me, I always talk about God and the universe. However you look at it, I look at it as God. But the other night we were coming home from Fremont Street, and it was, if anybody knows, Fremont Street's downtown old Las Vegas. And it was pretty expensive. It was like, for Ubers and Lyfts, it was like $60 at that time of the night. So I think there was 10 of us, and we're all looking, and it's $50, $60. We're like, good Lord. So we got down the escalator, and my one friend, Erin, had found an Uber or Lyft for $15. And I was like, how'd you do that? She's like, I don't know. So anyways, everybody else rented a limo, and Erin and I jumped in the car with Christopher. And poor Christopher is probably like, oh, good Lord, these girls are asking me all kinds of questions.
No, you were fine. You were perfectly fine.
Because if anybody knows me, I like to talk. And so anyways, long story short, as we were talking, I asked Christopher if he listens to podcasts, and he said he does. So I kind of told him a little bit about Hope. And then Erin asked him if he's ever been through a struggle to get to a strength. And he shared a little bit with us. And he is, is it going to be a nonprofit?
There's going to be a nonprofit side, but when I created it, because when I presented it, because I went to the SBA, and when I presented it to them, it was like, well, how is this business going to make money? Because I was more so just thinking about helping the boys.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking, is it going to make money? And then I started putting my mind into it and said, all right, well, since I'm going to be doing this, how I'm going to make money off of it. And I came up with ideas to make money off of it.
Okay, so, perfect. So if you will anyways, I asked him then if he would be my guest on my podcast, and I'm super excited because here he is. So if you will just share a little bit, Christopher, what that business is that you're doing. I guess it'd be a business, but really I get where you're wanting to just help, and you don't think about the money part of it until somebody says, well, how are you going to do this for free? Right. Yeah. So if you just share with everybody what that is that you're doing.
Well, the name of the company is More Enterprise. It stands for Men of Our Radiant Enterprise. It's a program that's going to help teenage boys transition out of the foster care system, which will, maybe point them in the right direction, have within the home, because this ties into as far as how the home is going to make money. Within the home, there's going to be a series of studios, art studio, photography studio, music studio. And in these studios, I'm going to have these kids pretty much just express themselves to see where their passion is and what they enjoy doing. But how I'm going to make money off of it is with entrepreneurs actually renting out the studio equipment. Oh, okay. So I'm going to be renting out studio equipment to the entrepreneurs. Okay. So the entrepreneurs, they're going to be making money off of my studios. I take care of the kids, and the kids actually can maybe learn something from the entrepreneurs and get to play on the equipment as well to express themselves.
Nice. That's awesome. So I'm sure that you didn't just say one day, oh, wait, I want to mentor boys coming out of foster care. There was a reason why you did that. And if you would share with us a little bit, I know you shared with us a little bit in the car the other day, because we asked then, I said, so were you in the foster care system? And you shared that with us. So if you would share, kind of, I guess, what you went through to give you the hope in helping others.
Well, when I was about 2 years old, I was taken away from my parents, and I was put into the foster care system. I spent all of my younger years in the foster care system. My father did get me out when I was 11 years old, but the circumstances still weren't too good. He still had his drug problem that I had to deal with. So um, when I got out, or uh, when I was about 17, 18, I got into the military, and um, I'm nervous.
It's okay. It's okay. No, it's fine. It's fine. Listen, I know you said you've never done this before,
Yeah,
so it's okay if
yeah,
you're nervous. Just go with what, your heart says, and it's
yeah.
good.
Uh, um, I
It's
lose my
okay.
place
Let's go
here on
back
that.
to, let's say, because you said that you recall when you were, we're just going to go back to, like, you said you recalled when you were 2, them actually coming and putting you
Yeah.
in foster
So
care.
I spent that time in there. I went through some stuff in the foster care system or whatever. It didn't start clicking to me until I got older.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think back on stuff, I'm thinking from a adult point of view, looking at a little child,
Mm-hmm.
because as I was going through those things, I didn't understand what I was going through. I feel like no one really guided me and taught me things that I really needed to know while I was in there.
Mm.
I felt like it was some things that maybe I should have known. Uh, Even when I got with my father, it was things that I didn't know. Uh, my dad taught me what he could. Uh, my dad did die at 19. So from that point, everything was all on me. And
Mm-hmm.
I realized that, well, I didn't realize it then.
Then, right.
Because when I was young, I made so many bad decisions thinking that I knew the answers.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know the answers. And I made bad decisions. So as I got older, then I started looking back, and it's like, well, I made some bad decisions. I shouldn't have did it that way and stuff like that. So
It's okay. So when you,
it's just kind of hard, like when I'm talking about my past,
mm-hmm.
because when I talk about my past, like my mind frame ain't the same mind frame as
Right.
it is right now.
Right.
So when I talk about back then, it me saying it, I sound completely stupid. Like I'm looking at myself, like
Was not a smart choice, right? Oh,
you
believe me.
did, but I understood, those things or whatever. But I felt as I got older, I realized that I didn't know a lot of things. When I hit about 30, that's when I realized that I wanted to help teenage boys that were in the position that I was in, that wanted stuff, wanted more, but didn't know how to get it. Like I felt like I wasn't taught any of the things that I needed to become what I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, as I learned all the things that I needed to build this business and stuff like that, I really realized how much I didn't know.
Yeah.
And so it really pushed me even more to really want to help these boys, because even when I thought I didn't know, I said, all right, well, I think I know a little bit. I still didn't know. And now I feel like I'm in a position, and I feel like God did it for a reason. Like when he gave me this vision, because it was a vision back in like 2012.
Okay.
It was a vision. And because I had sat down and I thought about, where do I see myself in 5 years? And I really took that question serious. And I never took that question serious before, even though I heard it before, because I did go to school when I was about 23. I started school for business administration.
Okay.
So it was a lot of things about business that I was already interested in. And that statement around 30 is when I really took it seriously. And when I took it seriously is that's when life actually started really handing it to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like before that, like in my 20s, there wasn't too much of a struggle. I was struggling, but it wasn't like after I hit 30,
Mm-hmm.
when I became homeless and
Oh boy,
and yeah, I became homeless and everything, and it happened out here.
did it?
Yeah.
So you said you moved out here in 2012. Is that when you moved out here?
In 2012, I moved
Okay,
out here.
and that was just if
That's
I'm
what.
remembering kind of what we talked
Yeah.
about, and that was to visit your sister.
Well, I came out here because that same year is when I came up with this business plan. I told you I took the question seriously, came up with my business plan, how I was going to make it happen. And I'm looking at it on paper like, how am I going to make that happen? So I wrote it down, and then I eventually, started knocking it out. But as I started going towards what I wanted with me being like an entrepreneur, being a business, uh, 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 my relationship that I was currently in took a turn.
Okay.
You know, it just helped me understand relationships and stuff like that, because I was trying to transition from one thing to another thing in a relationship, which you have to have stable grounds to even make that happen, or it's gonna fall apart.
Right.
And it fell apart. And uh, my sister, she was living out here. She moved out here from California. She was like, well, you can come out here and stay with me or whatever until you get yourself straight or whatever. So I came out here, stayed with her for about 3 months, and then she passed away, unfortunately. So, but
Sorry for that.
it's okay.
Yeah.
We got to spend some time
That's
together.
good.
We got to spend, like, we were spending nights sitting up talking about old things. It was old memories that I had in my mind that I got clarification from her, because we spent so much time away from each other. And like, I remember old things like back from our past, our past life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was talking to her about it and stuff like that. When I say past life, I say that because before the foster care system, because my sister is 7 years older than me,
Okay.
my parents were doing pretty good.
Okay.
My mother was a registered nurse. My dad was an aviation mechanic, and with money being good, a lot of partying was going on, and a lot of drugs started happening, and then it started corrupting them, messed up the family, and that's how the foster care system came into it.
Okay, I want to reflect just on a little something there that what he just said, because you guys all know that I'm in recovery. We talk about that, and what he just said was pretty powerful to me, because going to the drug part of it, and I talk about this a lot, because people have that statistics, that stigma, that drug addicts and stuff come from the streets and this and that. And what you just said, Christopher, his mom was a registered nurse and his dad was an aviation mechanic. Here's the thing. I say this all the time, and I'm just saying this because he made that point, is drugs do not exclude anybody. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter your race. It doesn't matter your color. It doesn't matter your job. It doesn't matter anything like that. So I just wanted to point that out a little bit, because that stigma out there is crazy of what people think. So I just wanted to point that out, and it's unfortunate that it does do that to anybody and everybody.
No, I'm 40. So my parents, they came up in the era where uh, they were doing pretty good.
Mhm.
Like, things were pretty good. They got hooked on drugs out of excuse me,
You're fine.
out of happy times.
If you have to sneeze, go ahead.
They got hooked on drugs out of happy times. It wasn't even depressing times,
Right.
where that hooked them on drugs. That I feel like just the time period, they was sucked into what was going on.
Yeah. And that's why I say that too. And especially like with the opiate part, addiction right now that's going on. It's not, a lot of times people are like, oh, well, they keep choosing it, and it happens. And so I just wanted to reflect a little bit on that, because I just always need people to know the stigma should not be there. Anybody can be addicted to drugs. It happens. And anybody's life can be ruined because of it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we see it on a daily basis. So your sister and you, that's awesome that you got to like reflect though. But now when you went into foster care, you said you were 2, so she would have been 9.
Yeah, about
About
9.
9.
Yeah.
Now, did you guys get separated then?
Uh, they did separate us.
Oh,
They did separate us, and that's when I got older. That's when I realized, like, man, because I hear other things. Oh, you don't want to separate the kids, and I'm thinking about myself. They definitely didn't have me with my sister,
right.
and my sister was the only one that cared about me. Like back then, and I had to really think about how strong my sister really was
Mhm.
because through all the times of me being in the foster care system, she came to see me.
Okay. So is she still living with your mom?
No,
No. Okay.
she was trying to get my mom to get me.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I found out when we
Okay.
were talking and had
Mhm.
our stories or whatever. She was trying to get my mom to come and get me out or whatever. But my mom was just in her own little world.
Mhm.
Uh, but my sister, she came.
Yeah.
And when I think about the ages that I was, like, I remember her at 4, 5, 6, 7. I remember all those years, and she's only 7 years older than me.
Mhm.
So she was a teenager.
Right. Right.
Teenager, come making her way across town to come see me, making sure that I knew that somebody was there.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it at the time as a little kid. Yeah, but you want somebody to care about you.
Sure.
And that's the biggest thing with foster kids is them having somebody to care about them. If you actually put a foot forward and show them that you really care about them, I'm not talking about giving them everything they want because that's not really caring. That's just catering.
Mhm.
I mean, really care about their future, care about what they're doing, care about because they really want you to care because people don't care. They're just numbers. They're just another kid,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah. And so just like you said, a number, just another kid. And what you're doing is amazing because so many people I feel like go through life and so you have something happen to you or you live this way and you don't ever in your head be like, wait a minute, I went through this and I am able to offer hope to others. Right. So that's my whole thing here. It's just when I think about what I've been through in life, I could sit here and just keep it all to myself, but I'm a survivor and you're a survivor.
Yeah.
And if we keep it to ourselves, God's like, wait a minute, I gave you the gift of survival, not to keep it to yourself. I gave it to you to spread it to others. And so what you're doing is amazing. I think, being able to, and even if let's just say let's say it's 10 kids that you help. Let's just say it's 5 kids that you help.
Mhm.
But that's 5 lives that get changed because you decided to take that leap of faith and take what you went through to help somebody else.
Exactly. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at my little bubble.
Mm-hmm.
That bubble might get massive. Ain't no telling how big that bubble
Right.
might get. But right now, it's just a little bubble, maybe like 3, 4 kids. That 3, 4 kids gonna turn into 5 and 6 kids. But then you got to look at the bubble the way that I'm looking at the bubble. What about when these kids get older?
Sure.
Now these kids are going to give back to this bubble that I already created. That's going to give back more to more.
Mm-hmm. That's
The
exactly
bubble's going to
it.
get big because these boys are going to be a part of a whole little network system where we are leaning on each other, we are supporting each other, we are, and I feel like for men, if they have somebody that they can at least express the feelings or get it out,
Mm-hmm.
then it'd be a lot better because men, we hold in a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
We hold in a whole lot. We don't talk about it. We just fight through it, work it out. We use that as fuel to just get our stuff done and work through it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we don't like to complain about our issues, but sometimes having that support system is nice to just talk about it. It's not even that it's really giving you anything, but it's you talking it out.
Yes. And I think I want to talk about that a little bit too with men because I'll go out there and share everything with everybody. And I think men, part of the reason why, this is just my feelings because I'm not a man, so I don't know, but what I've interacted with is men have been told they're not supposed to. You keep it to
Yeah.
yourself, you don't cry, you don't get angry, you
It's a
don't
sign
do
of
this, you
weakness.
just it's a sign of weakness. And now I think we're finally learning, takes however many million years, that it's okay and it's better for especially men. I mean, women too, express your feelings and stuff, but it is better. And to have somebody to do that too with, to actually have somebody you can go and talk to and get mentorship from. And that's exactly what I think you're doing, and I think that you said in the car the other night, you're like, well, I've never really shared or really talked about it too much because pretty much you weren't supposed to, is what we've been told, and a lot of times I say that our truth, we feel like our truth is what we've been told, but that's not our truth. If that's what we've been told, that doesn't mean it's the truth. It's just what society has told us, or our parents have told us, or this person has told us. And we need more people like you out there that's actually saying, you know what, I want to help these young men. I want them to be able to come to me and say, Christopher, this is what I'm feeling right now. This is what I'm going through. And you might not know exactly their feeling, but you might be able to say, well, when I felt like this, now I can tell you after years, this is how I would have went through it then.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking at like all the experience because I've made a lot of mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of experience. I don't. It's kind of funny to me when I think back on myself now, but I have a lot of experiences, so that's why when it comes to these boys, like I like, even if I see like boys out, like sometimes, like if I see that they have some passion with something, I'll talk to them and I'll ask them certain questions, just to see where their head is at. And, even then they take to me.
Yeah.
They ask questions, they want to know because for some reason they can feel that I know something. And because I did it all the hard way.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you're thinking, because a lot of the young kids now, especially in the foster care system, they think, oh, well, I can do it myself. Ain't nobody here to take care of me. I'll just do it on my own. Yeah. You're gonna have a lot of
right.
a lot of mistakes that you're gonna make. And then when you get my age, you're gonna realize, like, man, that was a rocky road.
Right. I'm lucky to be here still, right?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But here's the thing, when you just said that you talk to young men or in foster care, or probably not even
not even in foster care, just.
But do you think that when you go up to them and you start asking them questions, they look at you too like, oh my gosh, somebody actually cares a little bit?
Yeah, they see that somebody actually cares, like, because when you care about something, if you're listening to them, when you give them a certain type of information, it holds value. Like, and they'll hear it and they'll be like, wow, I haven't heard that, or maybe somebody around them never told them yet, But so I'm.
No, that's good. It's good. And the thing is like you said, and sometimes we talk to people, I feel like, and we give like our like insights or what we've been through and how our struggle went and how we got to a strength now. And yeah, I did that. And man, I'd advise it not to do that. And maybe at that moment, they're not like, oh yeah, but let's just say a week down the road, 6 months down the road, they're doing something like, wait a minute, Christopher said to me this, maybe I shouldn't do this, and we don't know those seeds that we plant.
Yeah.
Right.
And I believe that's the only thing that we can do is plant seeds.
Yes.
And that's how I'm looking at it, is planting seeds so they can know. I feel like that if I would have had certain seeds that was planted in me, like maybe I would have picked up on certain things as I got older,
Right.
So,
right. But here you are today, right? Yeah. And I know that we talked a little bit. You said you still struggle, and I said we do struggle, right? I still struggle, and I say that a lot because a lot of people look at my social media and they're like, "Oh, Tammy's life is rainbows and unicorns," and I'm always like, not really. That's what I like to put positivity out to the world. I'm definitely always about that, but that doesn't mean that we don't still struggle, But now, at least in our struggles, we know that we can figure out a way to get to a strength with it, is kind of how I feel anyways. I don't know if you feel that same way too, but.
Well, with my struggles now, I look at them differently. Before, and I'll say maybe just because COVID really put me to the test, I'll say maybe 2 years ago, is when I just let go. And I have this analogy of when I got here, when I got to Vegas, of me trying to create my business and make it happen. It's like I was on the ice and I kept falling and I kept falling and falling and falling. And I kept falling until maybe like 2 years ago where I stopped trying to get up. Like God told me to stop trying to get up. So I'm on all fours and I just started sliding on the ice and things just started coming towards me. Like things started happening for me. Like my mission, everything that I'm doing, it just started falling into place. Like I'm just sliding right into everything that's supposed to happen. I don't even know how it's happening.
Right.
Like, I'm just coasting. I'm enjoying the ride right now. It's getting better. There's still some struggles, and I see the struggles, and I'm like, oh. But then the struggles, the answers just come as I'm as I'm cruising.
Well, and that's the thing too. What you just said. I have a friend of mine that because when I started all of this, like I was on. Well, I still kind of am, but this wave, and it's such a good wave, right? And sometimes I try to throw that wrench in it, like, well, maybe if I do it like this,
trying to do
and then all of a sudden it's like that's not working out at all. Why don't you just go with that wave? You know, you said ice, and I'm on this wave, and it's the same thing. Like, and I still go through struggles, and I still have times that I'm like, oh man. For instance, let's just say today. So I'm doing my 50 States of Hope, and you said you'd be on my podcast, and then yesterday you have things going on, and then you said be here at 9 this morning. Now this is just, and this is when I talk about when we get in our own heads, right? So this morning I messaged you like last night. I don't know, it was late in the night. Like, are we still on for tomorrow? And then I woke up this morning at 7, going, oh no, I haven't heard from him. Now I'm not going to have Nevada. Darn it, I wanted to hear Christopher's story. You know, I went through all that. I just did a podcast the other day about worry. Like, it's like a rocking chair, gets you nowhere. Yeah. So anyways, then I said, good morning. And he's like, good morning, dropping the kids off. I'll be over in a little bit. And I was like, and I did that little bit of worrying, like, oh no. And then I went through the whole, like, wait a minute, is this a good idea? Is hope a good idea? Am I supposed to be doing this? What am I really supposed to be doing? And I thought, and God's like, listen, Tammy, stop it. Just Christopher's going to be there. Stop it. And that's where I think we get in our own heads, and then we start failing, and then, you know, this happens, and then we beat ourselves up, and then the struggle is real. Yeah. But if you go with that, like you said, on all fours and just go on the ice.
Stop trying to get up.
Stop trying to get up.
Trying to get up, you just falling.
Falling.
And that's what I was doing. I was falling because I think I was trying to force the answer. Like, no, I can figure this out. I know what to do, instead of stopping, thinking about what he wants to do, because he sends signs all the time.
Yes.
Like, and if you're paying attention, the signs are all around you, everywhere.
Yes.
Like certain little bells, little anything. A person will walk by and say a certain word that had nothing to do with what you was talking about, but it had something to do with what you was talking about.
Yes.
It's so weird how everything just falls.
Yeah, it is. As my friend Cheryl and I, we used to call it weird and crazy. And now we're just like, it's amazing, because it is. And it's kind of funny that you say that, because when I was getting out of his lift the other night, I had given him one of my cards. And I remember you said, oh, wait, I have a business card too. And he said, this is my last one. You were going to give it to somebody earlier, was it?
I was going to give it to somebody the day before. And something told me to hold on to it. And I held on to it, and wow.
And then here we are, right? So that's the thing, you know, and that's what I love to share, because the other thing that you just said, you know, you can call them God winks, you can call them whatever you want to call them. I call them God winks. But if you really pay attention to what's going on around you, they are all around you. Like you said, maybe it's just somebody walking past you. Getting in that, so I didn't finish the story about the lift ride. Anyways, I'm going to go into that a little bit. I went off key a little bit, but then we're going to go back to something else that you said. So anyways, we're in the lift. And so he brings us to the spot, and we're at those 4 corners, and it doesn't look like the greatest area. And he's looking at his lift navigation thing. He's like, is this where you guys are going? And I'm looking like not even close. We don't even know where we're at. I kind of joked. I'm like, oh yeah. And he's like, really? And I'm like, no, I don't know where we're at. So I look at Erin's phone, and she had only put in South Las Vegas Boulevard. She hadn't put in the actual address. So when she put it in, yes, it was quite a bit more money. And I was like, it's fine. I'll get half of it. Don't worry about it, Erin. I got this. But here's the thing. For God reason, she put that in, and that's how I met Christopher. So think about that for a minute, you guys. Think about the things like when he just said, you know, the little bells, the little things, this going on, somebody saying something. You have to pay attention to those things, because we could have just jumped in that car and figured out how to get here and everything like that, and never had a conversation. So I think conversations are so important, but I 100% believe in my heart and soul that we got in that car for this, because why else would that have happened? Like it comes up $17 and we're like, well, that's crazy. How does everybody else 60 and this is only 17?
Yeah.
Well, it's because there was no address put in, but it was meant to be that I was to meet Christopher. So not just for the podcast, but it will be a friendship now, and we'll help each other, right?
Yeah.
I cannot wait to help with what you got going on, and I love the fact that you're helping me here. And so anyways, it was blessed that we met him like that, and then to have that last card. And so I went to his website when I got home that night, and got back here to the hotel and just looked at everything and read everything, and I was like, man, his mission statement, what he has going on, is exactly where my heart's at, because I feel like in our world, wherever you live, our purpose in life is to help other people. I feel like that we should all have a giving spirit, and we should all help other people. And I'm not saying giving spirit, help other people and you have nothing, but be able to help other people. And I think that's what God blesses us with, whether it's just your voice. You don't have to have a lot of money to help other people. You can just like this. I just do this. I do this for free. I get on here and I just try to help somebody. Try to help somebody get out of bed that day. I help somebody be able to walk out of their house that day just by listening, like with Christopher's story, or whoever's story that I'm sharing. And I want to go back just a little bit more to your story, because we didn't talk about that you had been homeless. So how long were you homeless for, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, when from 2019, it was around 2019. It was right before the pandemic.
Okay.
So right before the pandemic, that's when, because the mother of my kids out here, we had kids or whatever, and we had a relationship. Like all my kids came from relationships. Like
Okay.
I failed relationships, but we had made a split or whatever, and I didn't have anywhere to go. For like a whole year, I was sleeping out of my car. I was working two jobs. At this time, I was working two jobs. I was working at Polo Towers, and I was working at Dre's Beach Club.
Okay.
On the weekend.
Security or something?
Yeah, security.
Okay.
So I was working two jobs, going to the gym. That's how I was staying clean. I would go to the gym every day. I would shower at the gym every day, go to work, sleep in the car. I did that for a year.
Wow.
Trying to make it happen. Fighting for this business. Because I was thinking about the money. Because when I started realizing that I didn't have the money and I didn't know how I was going to get the money, and I started worrying. Like you said, I started worrying and pushing and all this stuff, and I should have did that. I should have just let him handle it, and I didn't know how to do that. When you got bills and stuff piling up,
Right.
you're like, man.
Right.
So, but when I let go, the money started coming. When I stopped thinking about the money, and the more that I stop thinking about the money, the more money comes. And I really don't care about the money. The reason why I was thinking about the money is because you need money to make that happen.
Oh, sure.
And people look at it that way and say, well, what money do you have to make this happen? You have this great idea. You have all this wisdom, but where's the money? And that sent me into panic. Like, oh, I'm going to get this money. And now I had to figure out how to do credit and stuff like that. All that, I taught myself how to do all of that stuff. Yeah. Credit, everything. Because even coming out of foster care system, my dad, nobody taught me about credit, anything that will actually benefit me in this business world, the things that I need. So I had to figure out all that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and so then when you say that, so here you are, right? Unfortunately, you had to live like that for the amount of time you did, but it was a learning lesson again, right? So you took it as a learning lesson, instead of being like, oh, and so everybody, if anybody knows me, they know I'm a big non-victim person. So instead of the, oh, poor me, what am I, but we do get in those spots, right? And especially when it comes to money. We have to, okay. I know money isn't everything and all that, but you do have to have money to live, for one thing. And you do have to have, if you want to help people, you have to have something to help you do that, right? Like you said, like they're looking at you like, wow, this is a great idea, Christopher. I think it's awesome, but how are you going to do that? Like, where are you going to come up with the funds to do this, right? And so then, like you said, then you're like worried about this and this and this and this, and then the worrying gets you nowhere. And then once you let it go again, and now here you are today and working on getting this business going, and making sure that, like you said, even if it just starts out with that little bubble of 1, 3, 5, but to think about the future that you can expand it with. You think about anything comes up with one person, right? Anything starts with one little idea, and then shoo, there you go, right? And I think that if we let it go and let God help us with it, that's when it all goes, whoo, here you go. I'm going to bless you because you're blessing others. So that's where I think on it. I always say on here, people always know too that I say, this is just my perspective. This is just my feelings. This is just how I feel about things. You take what you like and you leave what you don't like. And I'm hoping that you take a lot that you like, because I feel like all these interviews that I do, you probably haven't had time to check out my podcast at all yet, but
well, I didn't look yet, but I did follow you because I plan on going to look at the videos and
yeah. And my only hope is that I can get all kinds of different struggles that people went through, unfortunate struggles, but the strength that is there. And I like to keep it to not just like, oh, because I'm in recovery, so let's keep it at recovery. Oh, because I lost a child, let's keep it at that. I like to do a broad spectrum of life, because that's what it's about. We all live life, right? And we all have struggles. I don't know anybody that's on this planet Earth that doesn't have struggles, but do we talk about them? Probably not. Especially, like I said, men. They don't talk about their struggles. And for you to step up and do that I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
men rather keep it in. I feel like because the way that the world looks at men who talk about their problems is, you're complaining.
mm-hmm.
You're, like as men, we don't want to hear stuff like that. We don't hear we're complaining and stuff like that. It makes us feel less than a man. So why even burden anybody with the struggles that we're going? Like my story is really really deep, and sometimes when I talk about it to people, like it coming out of my mouth, it sounds sad or whatever, and I can feel that they feel sad, but I don't feel as sad as they feel,
right?
Because it was just something that I went through, But
well, and here's the thing, because people do have that empathy, and when you do tell your story, that I'm not going to lie, Aaron and I were both in the back seat and had tears, right? Mm-hmm. Because you think about, and it's not so much we think about you now, it's thinking about what you went through as young, right? And that's what a lot of times we think about. But what I love about you sharing that is that, so with you going to work with these boys in foster care, you're teaching them at a younger age that it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to express your feelings. It's okay to talk about it. You don't have to hide it, Yeah. And so many times in society, even not just as men, but I mean, how many times are people told, well, back in my mom's generation, don't say anything. Don't tell anybody. Keep it to yourself. What are they going to think? What if you say that, so my dad was an alcoholic, drug addict, and like if I would have ever said anything, my mom would be like, oh, you can't say anything. You don't want anybody to know that, So then you keep it inside. Like, well, I'm not allowed to tell anybody that my dad drinks. I'm not allowed to tell anybody that my dad is hitting my mom. There's so many things that I had to keep quiet. And that's what we're taught, and I can imagine with men, that's what you've been taught. And so I'm a single mom with my son. I always made sure that I told him, don't keep your feelings to yourself. Express your feelings. Let me know how you're feeling. Does he do that all the time? No. If he's had a few cocktails, sometimes I hear a little bit more from him. But, I tried to instill that in him. Like, you don't have to keep it to yourself. It's okay to cry. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to talk to somebody, And so I think that's where what you're going to be doing is going to be such a huge benefit,
It's a whole little support system. It's going to be fun too. I plan on having fun with these kids.
Yeah, yeah.
Because as long as they have somebody that actually cares, like, because I am them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when I look at them, I look at myself. So
Yeah. So now I saw on your website too, you had some merchandise.
yeah,
Yeah.
I got a couple t-shirts that I'm selling. Coffee mug, a little mask,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just a few things to try to raise money for it. I'm also accepting donations to raise money. Uh, I'm doing all this stuff to try to raise money. In the meantime, I am working to try to get the money myself.
Right.
You know,
Right.
because I have to purchase a house and all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. It's a
So
journey.
website for your business, your the everything you can find right on that website you gave me, right?
Yes.
Yes.
The name of the website is rradiantent.net. Um,
I'll put that in the I'll put that on my page and stuff too, so you guys can see it. I might just take a picture of the card. Maybe
I
not.
also
Maybe.
have a Instagram for More Enterprise, and it's named More Enterprise, MOR Enterprise,
Okay.
MORE, and the E is with the Enterprise.
Okay.
MOR.
Yeah, I did.
So,
I did follow that too. So I'll share that too. I'll share that on my Instagram and stuff like that. And also, just real quick, I know we're on like 40 minutes now, but you did mention to me we were walking up and you said something about you're a writer too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just a lot of things that I learned, picked up on over my years. Like even though I didn't have like a nice little support system, I wanted information, so I went overboard, of course, or whatever. And I learned a lot.
Good.
I learned a lot. I started writing. Uh, my first time picking up a pen, loving to write, maybe when I was like in fifth grade.
Okay.
I wrote like a 4-page story, and then from there, I knew that I wanted to write. College, I breezed through English because all you got to do is write essays.
Mm-hmm.
I love to write, so that was easy A. But yeah, I feel like as a writer, yeah, you learn to express yourself a little bit different. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I
I
think
like to
with
write.
writing, kind of how I feel, I'm not real great at writing. I'm working on it myself. But when you put that pen to the paper, you can write more feelings that way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, this is really how I feel. And I think a lot of that is, honestly, this is my feeling, is that you write it and you don't have to worry about necessarily someone else seeing it unless you show it to them. Right. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like your own personal, but it helps get it out there.
I feel like it's therapy. Like with these boys, that's a part of my plan too. They're gonna be writing journals. They're gonna be writing what they feel every day, like because I want them to be able to write it out.
Mm-hmm.
So when they go back, they'll go back and they can see their self changing. They can see their self understanding. They can see like, I have such a beautiful. It's gonna be so wonderful. I'm just patiently waiting for it to just go where it's supposed to go.
Oh no, I'm excited about it, and
I'm
I think
anxious.
us meeting each other, and it'll all like it's going to help with that with you. Definitely get your word out there, and here I'm getting more and more subscribers, so it's just these stories of hope, and is there any like I don't know last like words of wisdom you'd like to say to anybody out here?
Well, I feel like right now, a lot of emphasis is being put on black men because we are kind of being looked at like low.
Okay.
And I hate to say it the way that I'm saying it, but we're kind of like at the bottom of the barrel. Like when we look at other nationalities, like they're praising their men, and unless the black man is rich already, but I feel like other nationalities, they're praising their men and building their men up to be great men or whatever. I feel like we don't get to shine until we're great. So we have to go through that struggle by ourselves, unless we got our mom and sometimes, from some of the guys who I talk to, it was still struggle with their mom, you know.
Yeah.
I just feel like, it's a time period where, it's a lot of emphasis putting on black men, and I feel like we don't get enough credit because we're smart. Because like I came from rough neighborhoods or whatever, and I feel like no one knew that I was smart.
Right.
Like that wasn't something that stuck out, and then in the hood, if you too smart, then that's not even looked at as a good thing, like
Yeah.
because you got other things to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
But I just feel like we we're we we are trying.
Yes.
We are trying as Black men to make things better. We are great.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of positive things. We're smart. We're athletic. We got all that. We like just look at how much Black men has done for us to just be under this low light. I feel like we need to do more.
Right.
And that's why I want to put emphasis on men,
Mm-hmm.
and specifically Black men. Not only Black men or whatever, but I just feel like, Black men don't have that support system that they should.
Right.
And that's why I'm going after the foster care kids, because they definitely don't have that support system that they should.
Right.
But even some I've talked to some women with kids or whatever, and they said that they would benefit from that program or whatever. And I said I already have something for that in the making too. I'm going to build a center, and that center is going to be for the community. And that center is going to have the same things, access to the same equipment for the kids and stuff like that, so they can do what they want to do.
Right. Yeah, and that's needed, and and thank you for sharing all that. Because I don't live in that world, right? So I don't know, and I do know this though, like you said, and I this is once again my own opinion, but the shining part of it, I believe that you're right in that, and for you to just step out on that limb and just be the light to others and be the light to these young men is absolutely amazing. And for you to step out of your comfort zone and come here today and talk with me is amazing, because I know that you were nervous, and I was like, I'll try to make it just go as smooth as possible. I like to chat, and I just think that getting your story of hope out there will give somebody else's some hope, right? You think about it when he's telling you, he's been in foster care, drug addicted parents, been homeless, has children, but here he is still today sitting here and wanting to do something to help other people. So I commend you for that. I think that it's amazing. I'm so glad that God put us in that lift the other night so that I could meet you. And he doesn't know it yet, but he's stuck with a new friend forever.
I'm perfectly fine with
it. Anybody that knows me, that's kind of me. I'm always like, when I talked about in the car, when I was talking about my friends that I interviewed, and people are like, wow, you have a lot of friends. I'm like, because as soon as I meet somebody, they're my friend. It's just the way that it is, right? Yeah. And so I'm just blessed that you're here today, and I can't wait to watch this journey, because I'm going to be part of this journey somehow. So
you will, and you'll see it blossom. You'll see it grow into what it's going to grow. Like right now, it's just a plant, but you're going to see it blossom. That's right.
So we're going to water that and make that harvest big. So thank you so much, everybody, for jumping on Hope. I hope everybody has an amazing day. We appreciate you jumping on here. And like I said, if you're going through a struggle, try to find somebody to talk to if you need to, or listen to something like Hope or anything that you can find that's positive, just to help lift your spirits. And every morning, try to be grateful for something. If you can't figure it out, be grateful that you opened your eyes. Have a great day. Thanks.